I like you, Cooper. You're ambitious and you get results.
Did Anthony ever mention Ireland?
It's the Cooper and Anthony Show.
Painted, as you can see on me, I painted my kitchen today. I mean, this weekend. There's paint all over me.
Oh, nice.
This is, I already showered. This is me after a shower.
It comes off with water. You scrub a little bit.
I did know. I did soap and water. I did one of those loofah puff things, and I scrubbed it. It was twice as much as this. I still can't get this paint off of me.
Paint on skin comes off with water pretty easily.
Apparently not, because it's still all over me. And it was even worse earlier. I was like up and down my leg. It was everywhere. So this is
why would you get so much paint all over you while you're painting? You're supposed to get it on the wall, not on your legs.
Okay, so here's what I did. I decided to repaint my kitchen, which is all cabinets. So we removed each cabinet door separately, and I laid them down on the floor. And I painted one side, and I flipped it over, and I painted the other side. I 2 coats of everything. We did like a high gloss. It's really like high tech. I mean, I'm really doing like some major stuff here. So yeah, but it gets everywhere.
Did it get on the floor?
No, I put a drop cloth down, but then it did get on the floor anyway. But I'm redoing the floors, so it's okay. I'm doing a whole DIY thing here. Like, I checked into the price of what it costs to have somebody else paint
a gazillion dollars.
It's so much money, and you got to buy the paint anyway. So it's like, well, I went to art school. My parents were like, "What are you ever going to do with art school? Save your money on a kitchen," because I would have borrowed the money from them. So yeah, I painted all the cabinets in my kitchen, and then when you take the doors off, you've got to do the actual cabinet part. It's a lot of work. I was surprised. I was like, this is why these people get paid so much. But then I was like, I did such a good job. I feel like this should be my new job. I should rent myself out to paint people's kitchens.
They make really good money. The people that do it, but the people that do it really well. Like, they don't need to put tape around stuff. They just do it by hand.
That's what I did. I have tiny brushes. It took me forever. I like little tiny brushes that you get at Michael's, like when you're doing an art project. And I was like painstakingly painting the sides. I'm telling you, I started this on Thursday. I've been painting, Thursday, Friday. I've been painting for 4 days straight. Okay. One kitchen.
So you only painted the cupboards, the cabinets. You didn't paint the walls, just the cabinets.
The walls have wallpaper on them. I'm going to leave that, because I'm not even going to try to take the wallpaper off. Like, screw it. The wallpaper's good. It's staying. So I did the bathroom. I did the bathroom ceiling. I did the bathroom wall. I did the bathroom door, both sides.
Oh, okay. So it didn't take you 4 days just to do the cabinets. It took you 4 days to do everything else.
No. I did the bathroom last week. That took me like a solid 24 hours. Like, I started in the morning and I worked till like 2:00 in the morning. Like, I took a break to do the show with you and went back to painting. So that was last week. This is taking me 4 days
to do cabinets.
To do cabinets. Remember, my kitchen's tiny. It's 4x4. Right. It's not like I have a big, huge kitchen. Yeah. So you should see it. It actually looks really good. I'm really proud of myself.
That should have taken maybe 2-3 hours max.
I know that's going to be the downside. So if I do start this as a business, and I'm going to charge a tiny bit of money, because it's going to take me a long time. They're going to be like, wow, this girl is still painting my kitchen. Like, we have renovated the entire apartment. We've gut renovated everything, and she's still painting the damn kitchen.
Yeah, you should watch professional painters, how fast they paint a room. It's 20-30 seconds max. They got the whole room painted. It's crazy.
Because they do the spray stuff. They have that spray gun
thing. No, they do it by the brush. They do it very fast. It's very good, very fast. That's the only way they make money, is they have to do one room in 30 minutes.
30 minutes?
Yeah, it's so fast. So, yeah, there's no way you're making money.
That's only one coat. The problem is you do, 30 minutes for one coat. Then you got to wait 2 to 4 hours for it to dry to do the second coat.
Then it's another 30 minutes. So we're talking 5 hours max. Before lunch, the whole room is done. You took 4 days for 4x4 cabinets.
It's a good point. And I'm still not done. I still have one more coat on these two cabinets.
Oh, so you're still not done.
I'm still not done.
This could be a week.
I think I can finish by the end of the day today. But then, okay, so we took the cabinets off, right? We undid all the hinges and took it off. My boyfriend's like, these hinges are gross. They're old. They're from like the original cabinetry. They don't match at all now because they're this weird, like brown, brassy color. And I have this bright blue, like shiny. He's like, we need new hinges. So we went to like 4 stores today to look for hinges. We can't find anything that fits in our kitchen.
Hinges are hinges. They're not. They're just regular.
Nope. Nope. That's what you would think. They are not actually. They're different. The ones we have open out. There's some that go inside. I'm telling you this. I had no idea. I was like, yeah, go buy hinges. I just bought ones that I liked. They don't fit. They don't fit the door. They don't fit anything. So I had to go back again. I'm telling you, it's hard for me. It's hard for me to
understand or believe you, I should say, because everything that you do is drama. Everything. You can't, if you went to the lobby of your apartment right now, so you got, you left your apartment, you got in the elevator and went down to the lobby, there would be some type of drama.
It's funny you would say that because they have a very strict rule in my building about you have to have a mask on in the building and you're only allowed 2 people at a time in the elevator because the elevators are really tiny, right? So as I was going down, the elevator stopped on the 2nd floor. Like, first of all, bitch, you can't take the stairs 1 flight. Come on. So it was this woman and her 2 kids and the kids were like, I don't know. You know me. I don't know how old kids are. I don't know if they're
16
3
or 6
or 33. I have no idea. But they're standing there and they didn't have masks and there were 3 of them and 1 of me and it's 2 people per elevator. She starts to come on and I said, hang on a second. First of all, no mask. She goes, we have masks. I said, not on your face. You don't. Like, okay, they're in your pocket. Like, great. They're not on your face and it's 1 floor. Take the stairs. So the door closes as I was going, take the stairs, bitch, like 1 floor. I found out later from my boyfriend that she's the wife of my boyfriend's friend. Apparently they've been talking crap about me.
See how I say you can't go downstairs without drama. So for me to believe I went to 4 places and couldn't find hinges for a cabinet, it's kind of hard to believe.
I would say that normally, yes, I would agree with you. It does sound hard to believe, except I took my boyfriend with me, who is really good. He's very DIY. Like he put our entire bathroom together. He's really good. He's the one that we went to 4 different places. I went to Home Depot. I'm like, these hinges are great. He's like, those are the wrong size. They don't fit. They have too many holes. It had nothing but problems. So yeah, no, apparently hinges are not all the same. A hinge is not a hinge.
If there was only some place like maybe Amazon that one could go to find such hinges and have them sent directly to your house. So you don't even have to go out and get that drama. They come right to your house.
Very good point. We should probably, when we get off the air, I think I will go ahead and go find some hinges on Amazon.
Every person standing here in this room is living on the brink of financial ruin.
It's the Cooper and Anthony Show.
We all know the Alec Baldwin story by now, what happened, how horrible the tragedy is. There's actually a guy who runs the prop department on movie studios, and he's putting out his 2 cents, what he thinks about it.
So a lot of people have been wanting to hear my take on the incident on the set of the movie Rust. And I've been a little hesitant because I didn't want to make speculations. There wasn't much information, and I really wanted some more information to come out. Now they're having some court documents released, and I believe I can discuss the protocols that were breached, which led to the firearm killing cinematographer Helena Hutchins and injuring director Joel Souza. For starters, my heart goes out to the Hutchins family, Joel Souza, and the entire crew. So one thing that's bugging me from all the articles is they keep talking about a misfire. Misfire 3 days before the incident. The incident was a misfire. Well, a misfire is when a gun doesn't fire. if what actually happened would be accidental discharge. First and foremost, most important protocol is no live ammo on the
Right.
site. No live rounds. A live round is a cartridge with a slug in it, a bullet that can kill someone. It appears
Right.
that rule was breached. And next, once you have your cart set up with your guns, you do not leave it unattended. You always have someone with their eyes on it from your department.
Yes.
From what I've read, the first assistant director walked outside of the set to the weapons cart and grabbed one of 3 weapons that were sitting there on a cart that was unattended. That's a breach. And the next breach in protocol is the first AD grabbing a gun. No one should grab a gun except the armorer or the prop master. They were
Right,
using
of
Western
course.
revolvers. And when we do that, we use real revolvers. And we use blanks for when there's gunfire. And then we use dummy rounds. You shake them, there are BBs inside where black powder normally would be. It's my understanding that it was a close-up on Alec Baldwin's revolver as he pulls it out of his holster and cocks it as he's pointing it at the camera. And since the camera's looking right down the barrel of the revolver,
Right.
you've got to have dummy bullets in the cylinder. And if you're following protocol, you would take your dummy rounds into the set with an empty gun. You go to the first assistant director, clear the gun first. You run a rod through the barrel to where they see the orange tip come out the other end of the barrel. They know that it's clear. Then you show them all the cylinder holes. They're empty. The gun is clear. Hand the dummy rounds to the assistant director.
Right, because you protect
and he
yourself
takes
that
each
way.
one.
That's
He
smart.
hears the BBs, hands you a round, you put it in the gun the same way for all 6. It's ultimately on the first assistant director to confirm that that gun is safe.
Yeah.
But none of that happened. The first AD grabbed the gun off the cart, goes inside, hands it to Alec Baldwin, and says, "Cold gun." And unfortunately, you probably know the rest. And again, my heart
Right.
goes out to everyone involved in this tragedy.
Right. The first AD is the one that grabbed the gun and said cold gun, which means ready to be shot, ready to be used. Alec Baldwin couldn't have known what was going on. He just has to rely on the armorer and the prop master. And we've since heard that this particular AD is known as somebody that has been unsafe on sets before. And all these people are coming out who've worked with him and said, "Hey, hang on a minute. I didn't realize it was this guy. Let me tell you what happened on the set that I worked on with him." And everybody has a story about that. This guy is just like really cantankerous and footloose and fancy free and not doing anything by protocol, which is really shocking because if you think of it like this, okay, as somebody who has spent a minimal amount of time on movie sets, the one thing I did notice immediately, everybody is like super duper professional. Like they go out of their way to be really respectful of each other and work really hard and make sure their hard work gets noticed, because the only way they're going to work again is if the people around them recognize that they're hard workers and they go, "You know, I'm going to do another film in 6 months. You should come along." That's a lot of how the work happens. They say, "You know what? You work really hard. You're really awesome. Why don't you come?" And they take the whole crew with them. Also, these people are all trying really hard to win awards. So whether it's a film or a TV show, they're always trying to win awards within their industry, like cinematographer awards or camera awards. And then the larger awards that we know about, like, you know, Emmys and that sort of thing. So it's really unusual to have an AD who's so haphazard and willy-nilly and doesn't care about safety.
Yeah, I wonder if, because this was an indie film, if a lot of things weren't followed, like if it was a major motion picture.
I'm sure that had something to do with it in terms of the people that were working on the film. Because again, like, you know, if it's a Spielberg film, you know, he has the best of everybody, like the armorer, the prop master. These are the people that have done props. But that's what I'm saying. These are people he's worked with before that he knows he can trust. They bring the same people with them usually. I mean, independent film, it's still union for the most part. You know, you're not going to get a bunch of people off the street like, "Hey, you want to handle a gun? Sure. Show me what a gun is." That's just not how it works in that industry. But it might be the reason why this first AD, who's known as being sort of loosey-goosey, got the job, because he was probably willing to work for less. It's an independent film. So there's definitely some aspect of it there. But again, it's still Union.
If you do not wish to participate, then please let us know at this time.
It's the Cooper and Anthony Show.
Halloween movies that you can watch more than once. So you tell me if you love it, not my thing, never seen it.
Okay.
Hocus Pocus.
Love it.
All right. We have 62% of people said love it. 16% never seen it. The Nightmare Before Christmas.
I've seen it. I can't watch it over and over. I find it a little tedious.
So I'm indifferent, maybe.
Yeah, I'm indifferent.
All right. That's 20% of people were indifferent. 63 said so good. All right. The First Addams Family.
I mean, I could watch that every single day for the rest of my life. I love that movie.
Me too. 63% said amazing. So I'll agree with you on that. Beetlejuice.
You know, there was a time I could have watched it every day. I'm a little sick of it. And then they also did the Broadway play, which was good, but it's like, you know, it's kind of a classic.
Not my thing, or I'm indifferent.
I used to love it. Maybe now I'm indifferent.
All right, I'll say indifferent. 56% love it. 14% I'm indifferent. 20% never seen it.
How could you not have seen Beetlejuice?
I don't know. Edward Scissorhands.
I could watch it over and over and over. It's the greatest movie ever.
All right, so 52% said love it. 22% never seen it. How about Scream?
I could watch it over and over and over. And I have watched the whole, and it's so funny. I'm looking for the entire Scream series now. The only way you can get it is if you're willing to pay for it on Prime. Nobody's offering that for free.
Thought I saw it the other day. That could have been something else. So good, 44%. Never seen it, 29%.
No, that, you know, I call bullshit on that. Scream is every generation. I don't care if you're Gen Z, Millennial, Gen X. We all
30%
have seen
of people
Scream.
have not seen it.
No way.
The Shining.
I know that is on everyone's list as the #1 horror film of all time. I know it's really well written. It's a classic.
Indifferent or hell no?
No, I'm going to go indifferent.
Indifferent.
No, it's not. It's not a hell no. I don't know. I've seen it enough times that it gets boring.
33% never seen it.
See, that's people that are not into horror films. If you've never seen The Shining, then you're not into horror films. That's a real important film to see.
All right. What about It?
I have never seen it.
Never. I saw it.
I've never seen it.
Well, I saw it at the movie theater. So there you go. Caroline.
Caroline?
Yeah, it's
Coraline?
Coraline. Sorry. Coraline.
Okay, yeah.
Coraline.
Yeah, well, yeah. Love Coraline.
All right, let me do it again. Coraline.
Love. Can watch it every
You're
day.
going to say my fave?
Not my fave, but I do love it.
All right. Never seen it, 26%. I'm one of those. The Witches. I don't know what that is.
Never seen it.
Yeah, never seen it. So there you go. 54% never seen it.
Okay, so it's not just us. Good. Okay.
All right. Carrie.
Yeah, I like Carrie.
Not my favorite or love it.
You know, there's parts of it that I love. You know, Carrie the musical on Broadway. This is so funny. It has a historic fact about it, and that it's the shortest running show on Broadway ever. It opened and closed the same night.
Really?
The night it opened was the only night that it was ever on Broadway. One night, and that was it.
All right, we'll say I'm indifferent on that. 13% I'm indifferent, 32% love it, 40% never saw it.
I can see that. Yeah, it's an old movie. It's like from the 70s.
I know, but there's boobies in it, so
right. And the thing is, there's so many references to it in so many things like Family Guy and other movies, so you kind of feel like you should know it.
All right, what about The Conjuring?
Oh, that's that series is my favorite ever.
Yeah, so good. So 41%, so good. 41% never seen it. The Corpse Bride.
Oh, it's my boyfriend's favorite. He loves all those. Yeah. Anything that's animated like that. Oh, he loves it.
I've never seen it. So 54% love it, 26% never seen it.
Mm-hmm.
How about Sleepy Hollow?
Never seen it.
Never seen it. I think I saw it, but I really didn't care. 43% never seen it. Blair Witch Project.
I didn't like it.
I loved it.
Not my thing.
I will say ew. Loved it, 18%. Ew, 20%, and 46% never seen it. And
It's
last but not least, I know what you're going to say, The Exorcist.
Don't like it.
You're going to say yuck. Amazing, 29%. Never seen it, 44. Yuck, 13%.
Wow. So I'm in a minority saying The Exorcist is a yuck.
Yeah, it's a good movie. Scared the crap out of me. Blair Witch Project scared the crap out of me.
Well, the Blair Witch Project did scare the crap out of me because I saw it in a film festival early on before we even knew that it was bullshit. Like, we thought it was, remember they were pitching it like it was a documentary and this actually happened to these people and then they went missing and everything. It scared me so much that I remember the car ride home, my legs were still shaking. Like my legs were literally shaking. I was like, that was the scariest thing ever.
I watched it in somebody's basement and slept in that basement by myself. So I turned the movie off and had to sleep in the basement. It was the worst night of my life.
You know, it was a really scary movie. I really liked how scary it was. But then once you found out that the whole thing was crap, and then the more they started promoting it, then you got to know the filmmaker and everybody in it. You're like, these people are idiots. And you're like, no, thank you.
We're in hell here. There's no rules in hell. We'll be killing everyone if we want that money.
It's the Cooper and Anthony Show.
Okay, well, for all of us that have cheated death, this is one of the most interesting and amazing stories about cheating death. This blows my mind. There's a little girl named Alexis Goggins. She's 7 years old, okay? She had to save her mom from some crazy dude. She did it by jumping in front of him and taking 6 bullets point blank, including a couple to the head.
The little girl did?
The little girl did. What happened was the mother's boyfriend had taken the little girl and the mom hostage, and they called 911. They got a chance to get to the phone, and 911 said, we're really, we're swamped right now. We'll get there when we can, because she basically said, we're being held hostage here. And I guess there were other priorities, and they didn't realize a 7-year-old being held at gunpoint should be your priority. Anyway, so 911 didn't come immediately, and the guy started shooting, and he got 2 bullets off, and the little girl jumped in front of the bullets and took 6 bullets. And she lived.
I don't even know what to say about that.
It's amazing. She lived. She lived and she recovered. It's just amazing that at 7 years old, she was shot 6 times. And, except for entry wounds and that kind of thing. She didn't have no major organs. The fact that she got shot in the head and nothing, it's amazing. It's an amazing story.
Piano Wire's going to be coming after her.
So that's talk about cheating death.
Wow.
So have you cheated death? If you have, 8776 Cooper is the number to call and tell your story. Dara, you've cheated death?
Hi, Miss Cooper. Yes.
Now, what happened to you, Dara?
When I was 13 years old, my mother gathered up all the kids, 6 of us, and we went to the local campground area where the kids camped. And we went swimming. The public could go in at 4 o'clock, and the camp kids would go out to another class. There was about 50 of us in that pool that day. And my mother told my oldest sister, said, "Where's Dara?" Well, guess where Dara was at?
Where were you?
Drowning.
Exactly. I had went to the side of the pool in the 5-foot area and was shoving myself off from the side of the pool to turn over on my stomach to swim. And this boy, 90 pounds, jumped off the side of the pool, wrapped his legs around my waist, and held me under.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Chad.
My mother hollered, "Where's Dara?" My sister just happened to turn around and see me failing underwater. She went over there and pulled him off of me, and when I come up, Cooper, I was breathing water.
Shut the front door.
Yeah.
Was it Chad Bauer?
Never got to go back to that campground and go swimming ever again.
I can't. And the thing is, the little boy almost killed you.
nearly almost killed me, Cooper.
Was his name Jason?
Yeah, Jason. But for real, Cooper, it really happened.
I'm glad you're here to tell the tale, Dara. I'm glad he didn't kill you that day.
Well, see, all the mean things that Chad did to his sister, I wouldn't
Yeah.
be surprised if he did that to somebody else.
Yeah, that sounds like a Chad move.
Right. Come on now.
Totally sounds like a
yeah,
Chad
his
move.
sister, he did things like that to his sister their
There's
whole
a
life.
kid. Let me hold her under. Huh?
Right.
Yeah, I could totally see it.
No,
Yeah.
I was very kind and gentle.
Now, Kim, you didn't just cheat death once. You cheated death 3 times?
Well, I have 3 little stories about myself or my son, and you can pick. One was, for my son was watering flowers at his grandparents' house with his sister. So Kyle was 3, his sister's 4. And I was moving a sprinkler, and in a flash of a moment, I took my eyes off, and he went under the water because the weight of the watering can was disproportional to his little body weight, and he fell right into the bottom of the pool. And I looked around, and his sibling was saying, Kyle, Kyle, Kyle. And so I said, Ashley, where's Kyle? I was looking around. And then she moved closer to the pool, and she was pointing down at the pool, and I looked down. There was the little boy, Bubbles, just, bubbling up to the deep into the pool, and of course I jumped in, and I think that happens to a lot of parents, jumping into the pool when they're
So you didn't even think at that point, you just jump right in.
Oh yes, definitely.
Yeah, that's good. Most parents would panic. It's good that you just reacted.
Right.
Oh yeah. So that was a good deal.
Is the little boy okay now?
Oh yeah, he's
Okay,
perfectly perfect. In fact, he's just cheated death several times.
And what's another one? What happened to you?
Well, I lived in Tehran, Iran for 3 years while the Shah was in power, and shortly before that, it became a little unsafe. But I was unaware of that as a teenager, and so to make a long story short, I ventured off one evening. Instead of taking a cab from the military base back to home, I started to walk. And I thought to myself, I know it's a little late, so I'll jog for a period, and then I'll walk for a period where there was lights. And so to make a long story short, while I was walking out of the dark, right underneath a street light, somebody grabbed my arm. And I thought to myself, I am a big tomboy. I can kick him, where you're supposed to, or
right.
I can bite him, I could do all this stuff. And as I did that, and I struggled, and I always thought of myself as an athlete, at 14, I was a bit of a tomboy. The more I struggled, the harder his grip got on my arm, almost to the fact like I could feel his fingernails and tips just bearing down, and my knees started to buckle a little bit, and I thought, this is it. My parents didn't know that I'm walking. I'm in a foreign country. And then about that time, a little foreign Peugeot went past pretty fast. And I don't think I was screaming at the time. I was just basically running through thoughts of my life.
Right.
Struggling. And then all of a sudden, just by mercy, all of a sudden I heard that, that little foreign car heading in reverse. And he shouts out something in Persian to this guy, and it startled him enough to let go of that grip. And when he did, I took my elbow backwards, and I started to run as fast as I could, and I ran and I ran and I ran. And there in Iran, you might not know, but every home has a wall. And it's either cement 6 feet high, or there's a stake post, like wrought iron stake post with points. Well, mine had one of both, and so I jumped and hurdled the waist-high portion of the fence that was cement, hurled myself over the wrought iron stakes into my yard, and scuttled up the roof. I didn't even bother going into the door because I didn't even want to wait for the door handle, but that was the scariest moment in my life. And bottom line is that a few months later, my dad said, we just got a warning from our company that there's been some possible abductions, so you need to be careful, Kim.
God, did you get close?
I was like, okay. Now do I fess up, or I tell them, I really messed up, and guess what? But
wow,
I didn't do it exactly.
Wow, that's an amazing story, Kim.
Yeah, I was really blessed. It was a goner if that guy hadn't come back. I don't know where
I mean, really, you can, and you must in your mind think about all the possibilities, all the things that could have happened.
Could have happened.
Yeah,
if that
so
car didn't come by.
Kim 2, death 0. Oh. That's the score there.
Coming after you.
Hi, Wilma.
Hey.
Now, Wilma, did you have a cheating death experience?
I sure did.
What happened?
I was about 10 years old, and I'm an older lady, and we were on a field trip at Robin Wood Lake in Gastonia.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I was pretty bad about fainting, so I don't know if that's what happened or not. I don't remember even going into the water at the lake.
Mm-hmm.
But I came to under the tower, under the pier, going out to the tall tower. I fought my way out of there and got out from under the pier,
mm-hmm.
and I was trying to get out of the water, and one of my friends came up, and she thought I was playing.
Mm-hmm.
I was grabbing for her. I guess if I could have got hold of her, we would have both drowned.
Right.
But she got away from me, and I fought my way out of there and got out on the shore, and no one ever knew that I just about drowned. I never told anyone, and to this day, I don't swim.
Isn't that amazing? So that could have been a situation that not only would you have drowned, you would have been missing. Nobody would have known where to look for you.
That's right. There's no way, because I don't even know where the teacher was.
Oh, man.
But like I say, I don't swim to this day. I can get in a bathtub with full of water to take a bath instead of a shower. Now, I can take a shower. Doesn't bother me. But if I sit down in the bathtub... and
even that?
Even that.
Even with a ducky? Even if you have a rubber ducky?
Yeah. I feel like I'm drowning. And I have to sit there and convince myself that I am not going to drown.
Right. Well, I mean, the bathtub, so do you not fill it up as much when you go in the bathtub? Because if you just fill it up less?
That's just the problem.
You just don't even want to sit down. So showers for you from here on in. That's it. It's all about showers for Wilma. Wilma, thank you. Of course. What took you so long?
I haven't had a bath in a long time.
Neither is Cooper.
Neither have I, but, at least Wilma showers. So have you cheated death? If so, I'd love to hear about it. 877-6-Cooper. Hey, Joe.
Hey.
Now, Joe, what happened to you?
Well, actually, there were two different times, but the biggest one was when I had just gotten out of the Navy.
Mm-hmm.
I had gotten a job at a convenience store or at a gas station as a cashier, and a guy came into the store with pantyhose pulled over his face.
No, that's so cliche.
Yeah, and I ended up thinking, I think I said something like, "Hey, that's not funny."
You thought he was joking because it was so cliche, so you thought he was kidding. Mm-hmm.
And he pulled out a gun, and he was about 5 foot away, and he shot at my face.
Oh!
Apparently what happened is the gunpowder hit me in the left eye. It knocked me down to the ground, and I thought I was dead. And then I reached up, and I was feeling my face where it had hit. Felt like a horse kicked me in the eye. And there wasn't blood. So I was thinking, wow, this guy shot me with a blank. So I'm thinking, well, maybe I'll get up and kick the crap out of him because I just got out of the Navy. I'm very motivated. I was very big.
Right.
And, well, I decided against that. I just figured I'd lay down and fake dead. Well, the manager, they pulled him out of the bathroom where he was hiding, and they shot him in the stomach. If he lived, he ended up getting up and running and went out the front door, and they chased him. God, my hands are shaking as I'm saying this. Well, the police came because I hit the alarm, and I was telling them that I think they were shooting blanks. I had a nice shiner on my eye.
Mm-hmm.
And the other, I guess, one of the officers with these long forceps pulled a .38 slug out of the lottery machine, and that was the bullet that was right behind the gunpowder that hit me in the eye.
Oh man!
And they said that a .38 is kind of weird, that sometimes the bullets will swerve while they're going through the air.
Mm-hmm.
And he said it was a 1 in a million shot that bullet wasn't right behind the gunpowder.
Wow.
And, yeah, that was really weird. And then when I was a kid, I was only like 7.
I'm still shaking from that story.
Oh, yeah, I was...
Wow, that's a real cheating death story.
Did they get the guys?
Yeah, did they get the guys?
No, actually, what happened is about 20 minutes later, they went to a Taco Bell, which was maybe 3 miles away, and they killed a 17-year-old kid when they were robbing that place.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And
wow.
as far as I know, they never caught him because they never came back to me and told me anything. So,
wow. That's really some story. That's really frightening.
Yeah, it was bizarre. But, after that, things don't bother me so much. I figure I'm living on borrowed time anyway.
Yeah, I've been shot in the face. I can do about anything.
Right.
Yeah, that changes your perspective for sure.
Yeah, almost a immortality kind of feeling.
Right. Joe, thank you for calling and telling us a story, and I'm really glad that you're here to tell that story.
Shot in the face.
Shot in the face and live to tell it.
That's a man right there.
Yeah, that's a real man. Well done, I almost want to say.
I'd never leave the house.
Okay, so are you somebody who has cheated death? Now, Rebecca.
Yes.
Now, Rebecca, you had the same experience I did.
It was horrible.
Tell me.
Went out on a 3-day, boat cruise, started up in D.C. with my boyfriend, who told me he knew how to captain the boat. Went down, got to the mouth of the Rappahannock, and I was up on top of the boat with him and went downstairs to make sandwiches, closed the apartment area.
Mm-hmm.
In minutes, I didn't even finish making the sandwiches. The boat is tossing, everything's coming off of the shelves. I look out and the sunshine's gone. It's pitch black and the boat's going up and down. My boyfriend's at the top of the boat screaming for me at the top of his lungs. And I was like, what? Where do we go when I went downstairs? And it was horrible. And the waves were so high, it looked like the perfect storm. The boat went down.
Thank you, Rebecca.
47-foot boat, and we were terrified. We almost died. I mean, water was coming onto the back, so that I was afraid to open the apartment. And he's upstairs screaming. He cannot swim. So we're thinking, oh, my God, I have to go up. You could drown. So I grabbed life preservers and just held on for my dear life. Water comes pouring in the apartment. I went up the stairs. Hold on. I'm just terrified, looking around like, what happened? The GPS went out. The compass that was downstairs was broken. Could not see land anywhere. And I said, how did we get so far out? What happened? Where are the markers? We couldn't see it. And so I put...
You couldn't even see land at that point? You must have been terrified.
No, we couldn't see anything. All I saw was the boat going up and down and practically spinning. And some kind of southeasterly wind came in and changed the direction of the water and everything. So I held on, and he said, what are we going to do? And I said, well, you're going to have to steer, and I'm going to call the Coast Guard. For some reason, I think he was so terrified. He said, no, don't call the Coast Guard. I'm like, you're crazy. So I went downstairs, called the Coast Guard. It took them 45 minutes to find us. So during that whole time, I just said, please, God, don't let us drown. And I tried to stay calm and held on to him while he was steering. We sat up on top of there, and I'm telling you, we were drenched. The boat was all wet. Everything was, thrown inside. And when the Coast Guard found us, it was so stormy we could hardly see the boat, and they saw us. We didn't have any, the flares had gotten, I don't know if they broke or something happened. So they came on board, and all they're worried about is, did we have any, traffic, illegal things going on?
Oh, yeah.
I was so mad. But they got us to land we had to follow this little Coast Guard boat.
Wow.
And it was just, it didn't stop. And they came on board. They saw that water was coming on, so that's the only reason that they save you. You have to tell them water's coming on board, otherwise you're on.
Well, we were completely capsized. I'm convinced now, after talking to you, Rebecca, that there's a part of the Chesapeake Bay that's like the Bermuda Triangle.
It is. It was
controlled by aliens.
Yeah, it was a beautiful day. All of a sudden, storm.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, Rebecca, I'm so glad you lived to tell us. So, did you cheat death? 877-6-Cooper. Hey, John.
Hey, how you doing? I have about 5. I would classify them as stupid human things you do and you still survive.
So Darwin was wrong. What happened?
I mean, he tried, but the first time I was about 14, and I was with a bunch of Boy Scouts, and we were running down the side of a mountain. You know, there's a lot of roots and things like that, but we weren't paying attention. We were indestructible.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm running, and I hit a root, and I start falling, and the slope is enough where I don't hit the ground. I keep flying about 1.5 feet above the ground, which was kind of cool. But then I said, you know what? This could change. So I started putting my arms and legs out and just scraped the heck out of them.
Right.
Finally stopped on my nose, and then I crawled forward about 6 inches, and there's like a 300-foot drop right after that. I almost fell right over.
You almost fell off a cliff.
Yeah, I kind of half fell off a cliff, and then then survived to do more stupid things. Like I went on a spelunking expedition. You know, a bunch of cavers. It was real amateur. It was like a low-rent cave in New Mexico.
Right.
And
it's really some guy's basement. You stuck your head in a bowl of water.
It was close, though. It was close. We were crawling through these tunnels that were only like 1.5 feet wide.
Mm-hmm.
You know, through all sorts of dust and bat guano and stuff like that. We were wearing the helmets with the lights on them.
Right.
Well, there's this hole in there, and I said, you know what? I'm going to go in that hole. Duh. So I climb in, and all of a sudden, the hole collapses around me, and I'm buried up to my waist in rocks. And I'm sitting there thinking, you know what? My buddies probably can't get me out, and they'll just have to leave me to die there.
Oh, my gosh. You actually had that thought?
Yeah. I mean, I flashed through my mind because I was pretty deep in the earth, about 100 feet under the earth.
Right.
Well, fortunately, it was kind of loose gravel, and I was able to really slowly, pick my way out.
Mm-hmm.
But I swore never to do that again. Then I worked in an aluminum factory, and I got really cavalier about climbing ladders, and I forgot to wear my hard hat, and I climbed real fast, and there's a piece of angle iron sticking out.
Mm-hmm.
It hit me right in the head and knocked me out.
Oh!
Do you have that adventure gene? Is that what it is? Because you would think you would have learned from those other mistakes.
Oh, and I didn't even tell you about the shooting times either. But what happened is I woke up hanging on by one arm, and there's a molten aluminum furnace right below me. Yeah, so I mean, I've cheated.
So you almost fell into a molten aluminum furnace.
You could have been boiled.
Oh, it would have been a horrible death because I would have fallen halfway in, so I would have been still alive for about a minute. Oh, yeah.
You got to think of it this way: if you fell off that cliff, none of those other things would have happened to you.
Well, that's right. You know, there must be some purpose. I'm going to find some kind of cure, maybe polio or something. Oh, wait, what already beat me out.
Yeah, what are you doing now for a living?
I work in industrial automation. I work around a lot of high voltage, and I am pretty cavalier about it.
Can you please have your boss call us because we need to talk to him? I don't think he realizes who he's dealing with.
Right.
What does this wire do?
I don't know.
Well, try putting it in your mouth. Okay. John?
I do it again.
Oh, man. Thanks, John. Hey, Matthew.
Hi. How are you?
Now, Matthew, you almost cheated death also, huh? What happened to you?
It was actually 3 years ago as of 2 Saturdays ago. I actually keep track of it because it was a big thing for me.
What happened?
I was a shift manager for a large fast food chain, and I'm in Greenville, South Carolina. And 3 years ago was a bad year for everybody in fast food in Greenville because there were about 20 different places that got hit by the same gang.
Oh, wow.
And in at least one of them, they took the people to the back, put them in the freezer, and shot them all. And I had the fun distinction of being in the first store that they went to.
Kidding me.
And so it was late on a Saturday night, and I was there with the assistant manager, who was technically my boss, but it was my shift. And we were in the office counting the money at over $1,000 sitting on the counter. And I heard the kitchen door creak. And so I turned and looked up, and 2 guys were running through the kitchen. They were wearing hoodies. They were wearing hoodies and masks. Both of them were carrying pistols, and they ran up to the door, and they were about 5 feet away. And they said, "Put your hands up." And, you know, everyone always thinks, what would I do in a situation like that?
Right.
Well, I know. I did the exactly wrong thing, and I slammed the door in their faces.
Oh,
really? That's an interesting reaction.
Hand them money and make them a hamburger.
Well,
give them whatever they want.
Make no mistake, if anyone out there is listening and has a job like that, give them the money.
Right.
Don't even question it. Give them the money.
Give them the money and save your life.
Your boss is going to tell you that, too.
So wait, so you closed...
I got chewed out. But what was interesting was that door cheapest plywood you could find. It wasn't even glass in the big window that took up half the door. It was cheap plastic.
Mm-hmm.
There is no reason in the world why those guys didn't shoot me, because they did it to others, and they just didn't shoot me. And one looked at the other and said, "Let's go." And they both ran out the door.
Wow.
Isn't that interesting that a door like that stopped them, yet the next place they hit, they killed everybody?
I mean, I don't know. If nothing else, I believe in God, and I know He protected me that night.
Right.
You saved the hamburgers.
And more importantly, yeah.
Well, even if I had survived, I would have lost my job if they took the money, because there's, in essence, we let someone go early, and she may have left the door open, and that's probably how they got in. So we broke procedure, would have been fired if we had lived. So I'm happy I saved my job, too.
What? That's a fascinating story, Matthew, because, like you said, the next place they hit, they figured out that they weren't going to wait.
Thank you for saving the hamburgers.
They hit just about every single restaurant in the Greenville-Spartanburg area. Every fast food restaurant, 2 different companies. They nailed them all.
I'm glad you're. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you for calling and telling us that. Wow.